switch. And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
Are blooded, but not bowed. Our backs are straight. We can face the Liberian people. Our vision is clear. On this journey, we will stand squarely on the side of the Liberian Constitution. We will stand squarely on the side of the rules of the House of Representatives. Any other thing anybody wants to do, you will do it without our acquiescence. The law is the law. We must proceed by the law. You want to remove me? I don't want to be there one more day past 49. The minute you get here 49, you will see how I pack my office so fast and I go where I need to be.
Although I committed myself to doing an audit, this is the reason why. When the first time I saw this outturn was when the budget was submitted to us. It is not true that any member as was exerted last Sunday came to me to discuss issue of outturn. And I will show you the hypocrisy in a minute. When I saw this, I called my staff. They gave me the evidence of this money movement. And I will produce screenshots and documents to that effect at my trial of how money was moved. So I said, no, I don't want to implicate anyone. But what I will do, we must do the audit. So now they have even extended it to 2022. So we'll be asking the GAC, instead of just 2023 audit, to 2022 and 2023 to see what happened here. To change that behalf, and it's discouraging. Can you imagine friends and colleagues that I wine and dine with because they have been convinced that the system they desisted, the system that they don't want to be part of, they must be a part of it in order to make money. Signed a resolution without the courtesy to look in my face and say, Speaker, this is what you did. I left from this country to go on a pilgrimage. You go behind my back and you sign a resolution and you run into the chambers to pass it quickly before I came. Do you think that is fair? Do you think another who wants to be disgraced? Who wants to be chased out of office? Who wants to look at the people who wine and dine with him over the last few months?
You think I will say that your play game with the Brempo, your saga, your hand was between your legs, the top of your hand, the table in between your legs. Now today you want to stand to know that you can claim the Brempo glory. Don't lie. Thank God I was elected. Thank God now I appointed official. The challenge is between the new government and myself. Anybody want to take it the way you want to take it at your business. I don't care. I don't see nobody. You don't want to see me hop the transformer. We sacrifice. The Brempo empower me to sacrifice.
I see in the next few months a noisy country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
The second regret is I was never able to get the United States to understand me. I was never able to get them to work with me, which is so essential for Liberia. No president of Liberia, no president can make it successfully unless he is online with Washington. Now, I'm not the type of guy that you can pick up a telephone and command. I don't take that. I didn't take that from Washington. Then, even if I were elected president, I would not take it. I'm not that kind. I'm not a coward. But I do believe that a good working relationship is essential for any president of Liberia, or that president will fail. I think for me, I have excelled to the highest office in my land. What is important to me now is my honor. My honor must be restored, and I've asked all of my colleagues, and I use this time to say, I deserve no defense from anyone for any action that I did against the Liberian people. But my honor is important, and I expect friends of mine to tell the international community, you must present the evidence on Mr. Taylor, on what he did to his people, or leave him alone.
Several are moving rapidly to claim the future, but yet others, engulfed by recurring bad habits, are being left behind. Let's face it, Liberia is one of those countries that will be left behind, even when compared with our closest neighbor, which no longer follows our lead. It is time for reflection, my people. It is time for us to work. It is time to stop the steal. It's time for honesty and time for changing minds and attitudes.
On the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieve on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be law-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences. Embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Wave the acknowledgement. Thank you so very much again that you joined us for the show. We talk it real, favoring nobody, against nobody, but an obligation to country. It's patriotic, it's nationalistic. Though it hurts, as the saying goes, the truth hurts, but the truth unentangled. You may not like it. You may not want to hear it. You would want people to circumvent the truth, but not everybody. You can stab your country in the back. You want to be honest because you are patriotic, and therefore you don't want anything to the contrary. So thank you again that you join us on this 18th day, Monday, the first day of the week. Too many things happened over the weekend, and too many things happen and still happening today. The government and fanatics or fans of the government would not like to hear it. Those out of the country are hearing, they are discussing, they are appalled by what is unfolding in Liberia. It's all because the president is the president of Liberia. Ironically, he is not in charge at all. He's been tossed to and fro by people who are mentally young, as he has mentally aged. So he's been tossed to and fro. Blunders are occurring every day. The first time, unprecedented in the history of Liberia. We get to those things unfolding from the weekend and today. But let's acknowledge you first. Abdullahi Dolly, you've come on from Zozo, Lufa County. Yata Dotsi, you are following from Philadelphia, the United States of America. Fatu Konen, you are following from Kakata, Magibi County. Asata Miller, you've come on from Red Light. You said good to be on the show. Good to have you on. We are inspired by your presence. Thank you so very much. Solo Wat Kosia, you are following as usual from your comfort zone, New Georgia Estate, and you ask, how was my weekend? It was great. All glory and honor to God who kept watch over us and has allowed us to see another day, and looking up to him to carry us beyond the hours and beyond the hours and beyond the days and beyond. And how was yours? Hope that yours was okay. Frederick Willie, you are following from Helsinki, Finland. Good to have you on. Andrew, now you come on from Virginia Waterside Community, Mary Tule. You are following from New Georgia Estate, and you say thanks for the great show. Thank you too for coming on. Nathan M. Blair, you're following from Barcelona, Spain. Kadia Tu Camara, you've come on. You didn't say, but it's good to have you on. So A. Sylvester B. Taylor, you are following from Bar Township, Bombing County, Western Liberia. You said Yasa Sharif, you said good afternoon to you. Good to see you. Thanks. You are intellectual. Good to have you on again, Yasa Sharif. CDC Papi Keita Success, you've come on from Dupont Row. My dear Southeastern sister, statutory member of the show, Dwight, you've come on from Minnesota, and you asked too, how was my weekend? It was great, as evident by my presence before you people today. We to give all the glory and honor to God. Muya Sharif, and how was yours too? Dwight, hope that you had a wonderful time. Muya Sharif, you are following from District 9, Sinka, that's Matadi, and you say good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Vinicius Junior Bab, you come on from New Crew Town, Claude de Port. That's how that place is called. It is a republic by itself. Vamuya M. Fofana, you're following from where did you say? Mama Blacka? Well, I do not know. Okay, but that's what you sent us. So that's where you are following from. Samuel Zizi, you've come on from where Police Academy, you said Saturday. Wunde Wille, you're following from Georgia, the United States of America. Richie and Flomo from Buchanan City, Grand Bassa County. Nina Kuya from Dakota, the United States of America. John Kennan from New Jersey, the United States. Yekesin Sando, you say hi, Kings FM family. Richie F. Cooper, you've come on from Tear Street Sinker. Gabriel Mann, you say we are following you from Brave. So thanks for keeping us The Nation Informed. Thank you too for the inspiration. Philip Kura, you're following from Dubai this evening. It's evening on your side. The afternoon, yeah. Okay, Dwighty replied to say her weekend was great. That's good. Good to hear that. Robert Bibo, you follow from Minnesota, the United States of America. Frank Diallo Swain, you've come on from Batnosville Estate. 1405 community, and you said great work. My dear John brother Stephen Coker from Minnesota, also the United States of America, had a large portion from all the fan base. It's so great from Minnesota and other parts of the United States of America. Good to have all of you on. All right, Marsh King, you've come on from Buchanan City. So we've got a couple of things to talk about the country. We're fixing the country. We are rescuing the country. The people who said they rescued the country, they did not rescue the country. Instead, they plunged the country into the dungeon. So we're trying the best we can with everything of our being to rescue. We are rescuing the country. They didn't rescue the country. They were only theoretical. But we are rescuing the country because the rescue was purely an irony. You see what is happening all over the place. So there are a couple of things we want to talk about, really, and then we get out. Very few issues we want to talk about, because as things stand right now, it is bad off for the country, especially its relation with Guinea. Do you know that the government blundered? Didn't we tell you from the onset that that statement made by the information minister was wrong, wasn't timely, didn't have substance? He had no need to speak. And this is one of the things that can plunge Liberia into problem or sour its relation with other countries or neighboring countries, because the information minister in this country will always, like the politicians and other people, will hasten everything they want to address the media, everything they call in press conference. It is not everything you come out to say. And even if you think that it is necessary, you have to watch your words. You have to know the kind of statement to make. You have to do a written statement and read. You don't have to go extempore, because sometimes going extempore and you have all of the cameras and the microphones before you, you are excited over it, you are moved by the honorific minister of information. So the curiosity, the expectation is high to hear from you. So you think that it is a glorious opportunity now for you to elevate yourself. And then you make a statement that you will not understand the ramifications. There, where we are right now, one of those things we'll talk about. The information minister has placed the country in a terrible situation. Guinea is contemplating something, and you know that is a junta regime. You have to be very mindful. The same thing they accuse the past government of, they're doing the same thing. They say the past government was running everything on Facebook. They would take to the microphone. They would say this, they would say that, and the country was not experiencing any investment. Investors weren't coming to the country. They were doing this, they were doing that. They had a lot to say. Ironically, they are doing the same old thing. They're running the government on Facebook. They taking to the microphones and the cameras and just ranting and ranting and ranting, not realizing the implication of their rant. Now where you see where we are presently, but we'll talk about that. I want to start with the convention or CDC National Youth Retreat in Buchanan City, and the former Minister of Finance and Development Planning gave an insightful address. I want you to listen to that address. But we talk about some of those things he highlighted. We talk about some of those things. Till now, the government is unable to put together their roadmap that they considered the arrest agenda. And they are putting it together. And do you know that the finance to get that document together far higher than what CDC will use to craft their purple agenda? Do you know that? Take CDC document, look at it, look at the financial aspect, all of the things financially to get that document together, finalized. CDC wasn't in the billion. The Unity Party is talking about billion. Did you hear the Minister of Finance explaining that to the development partners and sharing the cost, or explaining the share cost? We get to that. But I want you to listen to the former minister. He spoke to that. And it is true, he's right, that till now, nothing has happened. On top of it, they are doing everything they can to remove the speaker. And the submission of the budget cannot, under any circumstance, go as the way it's been speculated in the public. It is not the budget submission or the budget. It's not some kind of paper that the president writes on, and then he squashes certain lines from it and just give it out and say, you go and give it to that person. That's not how it works. It is a process with the input of the development partners, especially those multilaterals, institutions and stakeholders that help, that do significant contribution to the budget, and the processes it goes through before. So it's not an imaginary thing. No, there is a hiccup right here, and the president has jeopardized himself. He has jeopardized or placed his government in a squeeze position that it is difficult, or it's going to be difficult for them to come out of such a mess. It's going to be very difficult. He hasn't realized it yet, but he is feeling the pinch of it. He hasn't, but he is feeling the pinch of his error. They say if you think that you undermine it or you want to get rid of somebody, you are doing it at your own detriment if you are not careful how you go about doing it. I'm trying to get that Samuel Twe voice, but it is not proving right for my lookout. However, we'll get to that. But they retreat, whichever way it is called. They were in Buchanan. Senator McGill was there. He delivered his address cautioning the young people and those average-minded seditionists who were there also of the party resolve going into 2029 that they need to charter a new course from the youth perspective, because that demographic hold a significant sway not only by population, but influence going into the elections. If that demographic isn't cautioned, guided, keep on track, the likelihood of CDC winning 2029 will be a bit difficult. That is a fact because look at all of the political parties. Look at the elections before 2023 and 2023, where the emphasis was. The emphasis was on the young people. They decided to play a significant part in the decision of which way the election will go. Though the National Elections Commission cut off about 15 to 20% of WIA's vote and gave it to Unity Party. I remain resolute on that. Even in the next war, you bring me back, I will say the same thing because I saw it. There are certain things I see in life. Listen, it's not really a support for CDC or a justification. There's something I saw, and I felt that it was injustice. It was wrong, that you need not do it. The National Elections Commission stole that election for Unity Party. You go up Uganda, anywhere I can say it. They stole it. That could have been the other side. But I saw that indeed it was a plan to rig it in favor of Unity Party, and that's why the margin was so small, and the National Elections Commission felt that it could stay that way. But that is not the issue. So that the senator would speak to them, encourage them to hold on, not to get deterred or be discouraged, that the role isn't any longer as it was a couple of months back. We already gone 1 year because today is the 18th. Couple of weeks from now, it's 2025. Few weeks into 2025, we're talking about 3 years. The next voice you will be hearing, the National Elections Commission. So he tried to encourage them, and his address was right. Because if ever was a time to keep the young people on track, partisans, this is the time. And he did extremely well. He couldn't have motivated them as he did. Then came former Minister Twe. Though he would speak to the young people too, but he took his from another angle. And that's how it goes when you have speakers who have been invited or set aside to do public addresses. So he will talk about the errors, the condemnation from Unity Party at the time they were in opposition, and the errors they are making now and the hurdles they are faced with, and those hurdles came across CDC and they were able to overcome them because CDC had the mechanism in place. And the former finance minister is right. He's right. I can remember that Unity Party will run with this for pretty close to a month. When WIA came to power, that they could not form a simple manifesto or a work plan. They had no idea whatsoever. And the argument rose to a level that, WIA and his people are inept. He just took a bunch of people from everywhere, his cronies, he surround himself with them. They cannot develop a single roadmap to move the country forward. They have nothing whatsoever. Some of these guys who are in key ministerial position and managing directors position, they are on tape. They are on record for saying those. They will move from radio stations to radio station, explaining the purple agenda. The people came to power. They don't have anything. They just have dumb brains. And the only thing he knows is football. That's why everywhere he goes, they gave him football and Jesse. That's the argument they were taking on from one radio station to another, and people were enjoying them. But here we are The same thing that they condemn we are of, they find themselves faced with it and they can't get out of it. They are yet to develop a single, all that you're hearing arrest agenda, that theory. They're still trying to formulate. They're still trying to put it together. In 11 months, the party cannot have a single, no one can even reference that document. He will talk about that. He was right, because I know that for a fact. I heard all of that, those arguments. I have the voices of some of those guys, these Unity Party guys now in power or in opposition then. And then he will talk about what is unfolding. You remember he did a write-out, almost 15-page write-out. I'm talking about the crisis at the House of Representatives orchestrated by the president, Joseph Yeman Boakai. And it was going to have a serious impact negatively on the country because it is not a guessing, it is scientific. Budget submission is scientific, and the country was going to experience a standstill. And where we are right now, are we not experiencing that? And it's going to go into next year. Because if the crisis stays on, and then we get into December, there's going to be a break. And that break will take us into January. So if nothing happens between now and the close of January or the close of November, there's going to be a break. The House will go on recess, or what they call Christmas break. The House is divided. Everything is by quorum. So the president cannot call one side, one segment. He needs a whole. So if they went on break in the December period, it's not going to be, yeah, we need some extraordinary work to be done, like how the president, under the Constitution, he has the right to recall them back for to get certain things off the ground, given the nature. So he wouldn't be in the position, because either of the blocks cannot do anything. Once there is division, everybody weakens. They can go beyond. So if that happens, then it means that everything will be as it is until January. And what happened? Nothing absolutely in the country, coming into the country, government-wise, nothing. Everything is at a standstill. The country is destabilized right now from governance perspective. The country faces insecurity, and there is a likelihood of a potential crisis if already ECOWAS people having a full understanding of this, they saw it, they were futuristic enough. That is the reason why they came in. Now they were unable to broker the kind of resolution they had wanted as per how it works from the House of Representatives or parliamentary position. So where we'll talk about that, the arrest agenda, they will have to do this. They did not do that. The problem now is this, and he will encourage the party people to stand ready, fortify themselves for 2029. And 2029, not far. They did extremely well. The gathering was well attended. They brought Buchanan to a standstill. There was overwhelming support. I saw the crowd, and it was not a surprise because CDC still wields the support. If elections were held today, void of cheating, stealing, intimidation, harassment, but fairness, credibility, transparency, CDC will win that election by a stratospheric margin. It will be too wide. So that's what happened in Buchanan. They did extremely well. Liberian journalist Rufus Divine Brooks, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your presence. Hope that you are faring well. Back from Sierra Leone. That's good. You were in Sierra Leone for a major journalistic coverage. Good to see you back, and you are on Real Talk. So that will be doing it for CDC retreat in Buchanan. Now let's move to the next pointer. This morning it came out, but it was developing from the weekend. The Minister of Information placed this country in a situation that the president now is worrying. He's scared. He gone to Sierra Leone. I do not know for what, but I think that they want some kind of mediatory role to play. The situation with the sheriff guy, you know that they blundered with that whole thing. They were too hasty. Listen, I've said this thing here. Let me say it again. Governance is not to prove a point to the people in opposition to score political capital. When you have the authority, when you have the responsibility to manage the country, it is not a contestation between the government of the day and the opposition. It is not a contestation of supremacy that I am the boss right now. You had your time. You failed. Now, these are what I am doing, and I am doing it best, and they are better than what you did. If you ever think that way, you will always get it wrong. And that's what is happening to Unity Party. Everything they want to prove a point to CDC because they defeated CDC in the elections. Prior to that, they condemned CDCs in every way. CDC in every. George Weah plundered this country into this. George Weah did this into the country. All kinds of stuff. Here we are now. You rescue the country only to plunge the country back into the dungeon. That we are striving, we are doing everything by our knowledge, power, and ability to rescue the country. Because when I say we, I mean the nationalists, the patriots who would speak the truth. The country has been plunged into a situation that if we're not strong, if we don't stand up, there will be something else in this country. So there was news of soldiers of the armed forces of Liberia moving towards the border with Guinea. And immediately people started denying, oh, they're not true. Oh, the people are doing it. And not realizing that every rumor in this country has substance to it. Every rumor in this country, over the years, every rumor has substance. You don't overlook any rumor because you know why? You have people who are sending out information. It will be so foolhardy on anybody's part, hearing something and you outrightly deny it. You don't deny it, but you validate it. To outrightly deny is to be in the know. You aren't in the know, but you deny. What sense does that make? Report of AFF soldiers moving around the border, fortifying the border. You're not there. You know. And then you outrightly deny. Oh, they're not true. They're not true. Oh, the CDC people doing all the things that they're giving misinformation. They want the country to be there. And then let Joe Baka government. Just how the government failed, how they want Baka government to fail. But Baka failing his own government. Those guys, pictures came from there. What will you be doing in this country? Be it in the open, in the dark, that people who are there will not give out information. They will say, not everybody to a given place. All the people that are there, they're not seditionists. All the people are there, they're not only Unity Party people. They're a mixture of people. There are people who see things, they're scared, and they say, oh, we see Wharton coming out. We see gunmen coming out. That person they send a message to do, that person send it out. So the information came out, they say, oh, they're not true, all kinds of stuff. But it is true. Whichever way the government will not tell you that is true, the government has to be psychological enough. They will not tell you because you know that it will cause panic. Already there's the country is in a state of panicking with this whole, how they call the guy, Sharif. Sharif turned over. The Minister of Information said that the man was planning to overthrow that the information he gave the Guinean government using ex-Liberian soldiers. They turned the man over. And oh God, what the information I got. Somebody, a highly placed source, explained how the guy was taken from Liberia, a highly placed source. How those guys came, hey man, I want to describe the thing in a graphic way. Those of us who watch movies, when those guys are going on a rescue mission or they want to get a given person who they want at all costs, but given where he is, either if it is not easy to just penetrate, or if it is easy to move in, they will get in their military uniform. They will dress like predators. Very good. I think that's the right description. Because what I gathered, the guys who came for Sharif. Sharif was not taken from this country by boat. He was not taken by boat to Guinea. He was not taken by road. Sharif came, his people came, the Guinean guys. They came in their military, fortified, they're the predators. You can't see any part of the body. No part of the body. They fortify themselves in a way that you can't recognize nobody. And they handed the man over. All of us sleeping. The man was turned over. According to the information, the Liberian guys were trembling when they saw those Guinean, the junta soldiers, well fortified. You can't see their faces, nothing. They're not having long conversation. When guys like that go on a mission, they don't have any talk with anybody. The only thing is the transaction. That's all. And they are standing their guns. Their guns are ready. So anything, the least error or any attempt to do anything, they open fire. They're always fortified. That's how the guys were that came. Now, Sharif, Kabina Jane said they killed the man. Kabina Jane was defending the man here. Kabina Jane, former associate justice. He told the country that they killed the man. And assume that he's dead. Will you think that a junta regime, which is different from democratic regime, will keep somebody and put the person on trial? Does a junta do that? No. A junta government doesn't do that. A junta government is a government that is answerable to one person. And that person is surrounded by people who are loyal to him. They are ready to do anything, make any sacrifice for the leader. Any instruction the leader gives, they are ready to execute. In fact, they are even more determined than the leader himself. That tells you they are like predators ready to move whenever the leader gave an instruction. Even if that leader does not give instruction and they notice any sign they're moving, if the leader gets to know, they will explain that this person attempted this person attempted that, and we have to finish him. And the leader will say nothing to that, but accept them and congratulate them as loyal servants. So, another characteristic of a Gentile government, that is why I said the Minister of Information blunder. He has to be careful. Pierre has to be careful. Pierre talking too much. Minister of Information doesn't talk much. But when Minister of Information talks, the country knows that the minister made sense. Likewise, the press secretary. The guys in Guinea now, they are skeptical. They're having a second thought about Liberia, the Unity Party-led government. When you say that Sharif was using or recruiting ex-Liberian soldiers, not ex-Guinean soldiers, but ex-Liberian soldiers to overthrow the government of Guinea, you expect the Guinean junta to leave it? The next thing that registers in the commander's mind, also ex-Liberian soldiers are in Guinea. They are at the border and they want to overthrow. Is that what the Liberian government is doing? So the government of Unity Party or Joseph Yeman Boakai is supporting ex-Liberian soldiers to come into Guinea? You know that implication? That statement alone, I think the Minister of Information should have said something other than that. No government will take that statement kindly. Just one line, or even one word can put you in trouble. They can analyze it from every angle. He said Sharif was recruiting ex-Liberian soldiers to overthrow the Guinean government. So the people will argue, so ex-Liberian soldiers are in Guinea. Okay. Some of them are at the border. He passed through the border to go to Liberia to collect some of them. They're taking all of the analyzing it. So the next thing now, they will start to search for Liberian soldiers in Guinea. Then the next thing, before that, they fortified the border. Now, that information that came out, don't deny it. Don't let anybody give you any nonsense that is not true. It is true. You know why? Because the Liberian government is afraid now. They think that the Guinean government will come out with a statement or with an attempt, because they see the government here as trying to undermine the junta. And that statement, I maintain, from the first day I heard that statement from the information minister, I said, no, you can't say this, Mr. Minister. You putting your country at risk. You may think that you're saying something good or you're using that as justification for your people to know why you turn Sharif over. Yes, Sharif gone in Guinea. But after that, the people will sit down and begin to have their meetings about Liberia. One, that Liberia's minister said, there are people in Guinea. They are ex-Liberian soldiers that this man was reportedly training to overthrow the Guinean government. 2, that these people, these ex-soldiers he's talking about, are not Guinean soldiers. They are not our soldiers. They are Liberian soldiers, ex-soldiers. Telly, the interpretation they will give it, these guys are military people. Liberia fought war, and they still have war generals. So we will not overlook this. Let us be careful. This whole thing of going to the border, strengthening, fortifying the border. If there is nothing happening, who will just wake up in the morning and just like crazy man, all the people going to the border, soldiers going to the border when no soldiers going there? The government didn't want to tell the truth because they know the implication. They want to keep it quiet so that it doesn't create panic amongst the people. That's the psychology right there. So they will deny that, but they know that it's true. Even people from inside will give a hint. Now, if that wasn't true, why did Mr. President go to Sierra Leone? And not only did he go to Sierra Leone, but for 4 days, what Mr. President going to do in neighboring Sierra Leone for 4 days? Sierra Leone is not a developed country to attract investors to Liberia. Sierra Leone is a struggling, developing economy like ours. Sierra Leone does not have potential investors. When we talk about investors, you know what I mean. Even they need investors into their country. They're trying to attract investors into their country, as evident by what we see, hear, and read of their president, Julius Maada Bio, moving from here and there, from countries to country, signing contracts, governments around the world, giving him thousands, millions of dollars, while our president can only be giving lecture. So why Mr. President going to do that if the information that came out is not true? The Guinean government not happy with the Liberian government. So Mr. President was advised expressly that given the situation, you can face them one-on-one. They are not democratic. A junta government is a government that is one man's affair. One man's affair. You can say, if you say rebels, yeah, you might be right. They have their characteristics. Just like when Charles Taylor was in the bush. Everybody looks up to Charles Taylor. Any command he gave that, like Prince Johnson, Roosevelt Johnson, all of those head of various factions, then they were all junta regimes. And they are undemocratic. They take nothing for granted. Survival of anything fishy that they are aware of is very slim. Didn't we see here with Prince Johnson and the Taylor man, the other people, when they suspect, what happened? That person is killed immediately. That's how a junta government is. A junta government is not a government to joke with or junta regime, because government means democratic. A junta regime is not a regime to joke with. They do not have the table. That means in diplomatic terms, they do not sit on table to negotiate anything. They give a command, you either go by the command or get ready for the consequences. Because a junta government is ever ready to move. So they tell you, President of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, your information minister said that some of your people were being used by Sheriff to come into Guinea to overthrow. We gave you 24 hours to now withdraw all your people that you know. They stop right there. That alone, they tell you that if not, they're ready to move. Before they can give their warning, they're already ready. That's how a junta government is. So what Mr. President going to do in Sierra Leone? Is he going on a Minor River Union business talk? Well, the information is Mr. President is going to Guinea or has gone to Guinea to meet Mada Bio. They got a couple of things to talk, but prominent among all, this Sierra Leone, this Guinea, Liberia, Wahala, the blunder from the information minister. The way they handle it, the Guinean government not satisfied with Liberia. So it's like, oh, okay, we can face these people. These people don't want to hear us. So you know what we'll do? Mr. President, I think you can move through your Sierra Leonean counterpart and lay out the situation to him, giving his cordial relation with the Guinean leadership. He will be able to get through to them. So let's move in or sit down and talk, because there's not telephone talk. It is not telephone talk. There's situation between Liberia and Guinea that came out. See, this is a serious thing. It is very serious. And if we're not careful, it's going to sour our relationship with Guinea. That is a junta regime. It is not a democratic government. If we're not careful, if this thing is not handled carefully, it's going to sour our relationship with Guinea. Why it is true that Guinea too was instrumental somehow, some way in contributing troops to help us in our war year, but that is over now, several years in between. And you don't expect them to be sympathetic against their detriment. Simply because they helped Liberia, they contributed troops. And they have this information that Liberia allowed its soil or attempted to allow its soil to be used as a base. So say, okay, Chief, try to move to the man and talk and explain everything, because it's not telephone talk. But I ain't going down there to do anything extra. It's not on a business thing. It's not on no development, nothing. Why didn't the executive mansion state what he going there for? Why did they not state? Why they leaving you in limbo? Do you know that the president's office is under obligation to tell the Liberian people about his trip, the content of the trip? Now, when he is going to other places, like you're going to Seoul, going to this other place, meet business people, and they'll showcase it, they will explain on executive mansion page. President Bouaga will be meeting Yu Jun-sing. They'll be discussing this on the French of Aid, the president. Why they're not explaining this one? Why is he going to Guinea or going to Sierra Leone? Because they know that it borders on Liberia's relation from a security perspective with Guinea. The blunder came from how they handle the Sharif situation. Let's hope that it works out well and it doesn't create a stain on the relationship with Liberia. But that information you heard is true. Don't mind those people. Let's take a few calls on this one. Then we'll talk other things. But I beg you, let me just squeeze in the Yemplu situation. Yemplu's justification. Yemplu's justification. All of us know, we talk about that fake Nicotel deal, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and her people will justify. And the Minister of Information knows too well that the Necotel deal is a scam, but as Minister of Information, the chief propagandist of government will not come out and say this deal is not. The Minister of Information role is, in his presence, a government official takes knife and cut off the neck of another government official or another person, tell the nation that nothing of such happened, was a rumor. That's the role of the Minister of Information. No minister have had a damning relationship or character with the public than Minister of Information. Because every day you compare to lie. Every day you lie. Every day you lie. You lie. And the Minister of Information will know from the recesses of his or her heart that he or she lying. But that is the role of the Minister of Information now. So he knows that Necotel deal is fake. So talk about aid. It's not news. But this government minister in Matthew Yemplu came out and made it clear that the deal is fake. Nobody should give attention to it. Couple of hours later, it came out that the Minister of Information, Jeremy Lekpia, was not satisfied with what he did. And we are told that the Minister of Information told him that this, your post or your condemnation of the Necotel government deal will cost you your job. No sooner had that gone, we heard of his indefinite suspension. Few hours later, Yemplu tendered in his resignation. And I want to say two things. As much as the right of the former minister to speak, one, two, government policy on against government officials or divulging certain information that the government consider vital, or criticizing or condemning certain policy action. Why it is true that those two things are onto the person and the government, but the man, Matthew Yemplu, I have not seen that from any government official. In my opinion, Matthew Yemplu stands for principle, and I think to some extent he's grounded. I don't want to believe that he is a millionaire or billionaire, but I am convinced that he is some kind of person who, by his own workings, is grounded within his perimeter and he's principle minded. These two I will want to talk about. Whether the government, their government policy, or they're not government policy, or the merger, all that other argument there are inside. Because the very government is irony of itself. You say the man is unethical. Those of you who lambasting the man. Yes. But look what government officials doing on Facebook. If you say it is wrong for government officials to do such, or it is not wrong for a government official to promote the government on Facebook, but it is wrong to give a candid opinion about what you see that will bring the government into disgrace and discourage investors from coming to the country. So, few hours later, we heard that the man resigned. And I read his resignation letter. And I said within myself, this man must be a principle-minded Matthew Yemplu. And Though I do not know him, his background, just hearing his name as former Unity Party official, but I think he is grounded to some extent financially. Because it takes a government official to do that. I have not seen it before. A government official will do that, but they will serve a suspension maybe a year or two, probably when something happens, then they say, oh, but the president suspend you. In less than 3-4 hours, you tender in your resignation. It takes a principle-minded person and a person who is grounded financially. Because Matthew Yemplu, by his resignation, is simply saying or said, I don't need your government Bwaka to exist. I've been existing before your government came into place. I did not accept your job because of the money, but because we owe it to the people. We came in as rescue, and we said in our rescue manifesto, we're not going to hide anything from the Liberian people. We're going to tell them the truth. And that's what the rescue was all about. The Minister of Information, he said that same thing. I have the tape on him. They were laying so much emphasis on PR. A contradiction of himself from an information perspective. He said that the Unity Party was never going to hide anything from the people. When it is not right, they will say it. When it is right, they will say it. It is one of the reasons their own man, Martin Colley, is against them, blasting them every day. They're on record for that. Kula Fofana, who is the press secretary, we were in a meeting. Kula Fofana, with all the talk show hosts, or very many of the talk show hosts at the executive mansion, what did Kula Fofana say? She said, we're going to cut across. We're not going to hide anything. We're going to rebrand the presidency. Rebranding means just how we are in the government. We're not telling the people the truth. For us, we're going to tell the truth. Joseph Yuma Bwaga came outside and he slipped, he fell. We will say the president slipped and fell. When you say rebranding the presidency, it means that you're not doing what the other people were doing. Your presidency will be transparent, it will be open, it will be all of that. Tawakula said, Kula Fofana in that meeting will talk with most of the talk show hosts in this country. And why did she call that meeting? Because she's, according to her, they want to look different. So Matthew Yemplu now put that to test. And then they suspended the man indefinitely. That indefinite suspension, Matthew Yemplu was never going to come back in this government. Matthew Yemplu is far-sighted. Apparently, somebody may have told him that, look, the president has already given instruction in the next few hours, he will dismiss you. So he resigned. Now, here is the intolerance of Unity Party and contradiction of everything that they say. When you know how God works, if you look at the trend of our society, they may not be the same, they may not be happening at the same time, they may be similar, but God allow those things to happen to tell Unity Party people that your condemnations, your vilifications, your satanic and diabolic lies against CDC, you people are the same. Look at the trend. Look at how things are happening. It was just the same as these things were happening. They were condemning CDC along the way. You see the trend? CDC had their situation. I think it was two persons. It was Eugene Fagon when he talked about our Congo stuff. President Weah had no time. President Weah didn't want to take action against Eugene Fagon when he talked about our Congo stuff. You know why President Weah took action? Because the United States government communicated to him, said, Mr. President, this thing is going to cause trouble, this and all the kind of stuff. But President Weah didn't want to take action against Fagon. So what happened? They suspended him for a couple of weeks. After that, he came back to to work. He left government when he started with the COVID-19 stuff, saying all kinds of things. The whole world was battling that pandemic, and he was there doing a number of stuff, saying all kinds of things. So he was constrained to leave, or the government was constrained to getting out. The government was right at that time. Then there's the next person called Boima JV Boima. Didn't JV Boima vent out his opinion, said what he needed to have said, all kinds of things, brought the president into the picture, said things about the president's government, wrote pretty close to 25 pages, and sent it to various media institutions on Facebook. Some radio stations were reading it, and everybody was afraid. Or vast majority of the people was afraid that, oh, the president going to dismiss JV Boima from FBS, so the president will take him from there. That thing too, bro. You can't say that out the president. But what happened? President we have said the man entitled to his opinion. He likes it. It helps the government. President we are into nothing. JV Boima stay on in his role. And everybody was astonished. The same thing with Matthew Yemplo. In no time, they hung on Matthew Yemplo. The government that said it's going to be open, transparent, they hung on Matthew Yemplo, suspended him, because he tried to save the nation from a BNSP that the government had brought in. So yeah, what he said after his resignation, he said, listen to him carefully. This is what I took interest in. He said, if this was a CDC government minister that brought this colossal disgrace, that's the Necotech scam he referring to as colossal disgrace. If this was a CDC government that brought this colossal disgrace to our country, our UP folks will be in arms. That means CDC, Unity Party, assume. Let me put it this way so you understand his first. He's saying that if CDC was in power, as they were, and that Nicotech thing came into being, and the nation realized that it is not right, it's not a good deal, it is a fake deal. He said Unity Party folks were going to arm themselves and start to shoot at, spray, arrow CDC people. That means you're going to condemn them, you're going to blast them, going to say all kinds of nasty things about them. But Unity Party has done it, and everybody thinks that it is or nothing wrong with it. That's his first line. He said, if this was a CDC government minister that brought this colossal disgrace to our country, our UP folks, our Unity Party people will be in arms. Because it is a Unity Party government minister that has done us this damage, they say, I'm on our talkie. I'm a follow interagency channel. He put it in colloquia. What a hypocrisy. I need someone to come show me where they gave me interagency protocol to follow anywhere on anything. We do a disservice to our country in the name of working in government. Government should be the place where views are exchanged very openly and critically without any fear of retribution, especially when the people's interest is at stake. I prefer not to work in government if they say I should shut my mouth and not point inadequacies and inefficiencies. We fought hard to make sure George Weah did not get a second term. We said President Bouaka was the best bet. We cannot fail on that promise because some people feel they should be above reproach or should not be chastened when they act in a way that compromises the rescue mission. Please, just know that when you gave me government job, I will not shut my mouth on anything. When I see wrong, I will say it plainly and clearly. Fonati Kofa is the legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives. Those 43 lawmakers are breaking the law and disrespecting their own rules and the Constitution by refusing to sit under his gavel. Fonati should not resign. He must stand his ground. Anybody in the executive business with those 43 lawmakers, just know that you are as corrupt as the CDC government we so ferociously campaign against. We cannot be political about following the law. We cannot set different standards for ourselves. The same standard must apply across the board. And then he concluded, he said, I read from Anthony Kesseley, the one he just talked about, the House of Representatives, that they're breaking the law. In essence, he's saying that Bouaka knows about it. Bouaka, the president, Bouaka doing nothing about it. Unity Party government says they're going to uphold the rule of law, yet they're doing nothing about it. That's the idea he's sending in using or inserted the House of Representative crisis in his justification why he resigned. He said then to his colleague at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, he said, I read from Anthony Kesseley, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs at the Ministry of State, that I have gotten what I wanted. President Bouaka must really be ashamed of you, Kesseley. Look, we campaign against we are for the good governance in our country, not to keep a job. If you can tell President Bouaka that the foreign minister has disgraced us, I wonder whether your issue was just to hold a job, as it seems now, or whether you were campaigning for a better Liberia. They got to make it right. Yeah, I read the Anthony Kesseley man read out too, but that man still on in that place. That Anthony Kesseley man, no impact. You still on down there. You a last small girl, a Kula Fofana, to come over you be your boss. You're working for Kula Fofana, even though that is not an issue. Anybody can work on it, anybody. But giving your vet, that why the man blasting you. What other thing the man said? He said, if you can tell Bouaka, that the foreign minister has disgraced us, meaning Liberia, I wonder whether your issue was just to hold a job, as it seems now, or whether you were campaigning for a better Liberia. Loving Liberia is not on lips. Liberia is the blood that runs through our veins. Okay? So what else? A law, I just dipping through. Then he went to PR. What did he say about PR? He said, yeah, what he said about PR. He said, and the president gives currency to this kind of bad behavior by refusing to see or talk to junior ministers. Meaning, he's saying that Bouaka can talk to junior ministers. When something happens, Bouaka ain't want to know. Bouaka can call you to find her. Just how we saw in Ellen's regime, when things happen, Ellen will call that minister to find out what happened. We will call that junior minister to find out. So if there's anything, then we or Ellen would know how to intervene. That's how these two people, I know that for a fact because we saw it. Most of the guys in Ellen's government, in we government, knew them. We are still friends today. What they called Dima, he was at Ministry of Transport. Yeah, Ellen appointed him. But he and the minister, Eugene Nabwe, they were not, every night then. So I think one time he said, given how it was, the president had called him and to go there at the executive mansion and the president wanted to find out what really happening at the ministry. She heard it, she heard that, all the kind of stuff. The same thing we saw in we as government. That's how that's a good characteristic of leader. You don't just and then you take action, or you avoid, you keep off the person. So he said Boubacar will refuse, a bad habit, refuse to talk to GM ministers. He said, no wonder Jeremy Pia would threaten me with dismissal and go to the president the next day and brings me on indefinite suspension letter. Must I be cowed by that? Are you kidding me? We will not stop talking. Inside government, outside government, whatever the consequences, whatever our conscience, brother, whatever our conscience tells us, we will let it out. So Boubacar can listen to a GM minister. Boubacar, you won't hear them. You won't see them. The same thing they accuse we are people of. Amen. Another thing yet, when you minister, you can install yourself like you the only person that the president knows. That's how most government ministers they are. They will install themselves. They will block the rest of the people from seeing the president or talking to the president. Everything that them. Then they will come in and say, I just met the president, and the president not satisfied with you. But allow the president talk about you, but I think the president wanted to take action, but I tried talking to the president. Then our deputy minister now or assistant minister is afraid. So what I'm simply saying that I'm encouraged by what he did. He knows why he resigned, but I think besides the resignation, or why everyone knows why he resigned and his background, whether he has money to sustain himself, that's not my concern. But my concern is on the first one, that he's principle-minded. He's principle-minded. It takes a minister in this government to do that. When government is lucrative, money all over the place, corruption all over the place, for an assistant minister, not even deputy, assistant minister, to slap the president in his face, instead of the president sacking the man, or the man sack the president by saying, take your job. Yeah, have it. I don't need your job to survive. That's why the man disgrace Boubacar. This is a disgrace. No leader ever feels comfortable with this. The man disgrace Boubacar by way. Said, take your job. Come on, man. Go with it. Have it. The people, the sycophants who are around you, they are freak for job. I can get a job. I don't need you. We fought. We were honest with the people in our campaign to them. That's the reason why they voted us. So why must we go contrary to what we said? So take your job, Boubacar, carry it. Get to whoever you want to. Even if you want to get to any one of your relatives, fine. But you can have your job. I think he's principle-minded. He's principle-minded. And he ought to be healed for that. Yes. Okay. So let's turn to you now. Let's turn to you. Have your say on these 3 pointers we talk about: CDC retreat, Matthew Yamplu, resignation, the situation with Guinea and Liberia. The atmosphere is not as conducive, as cordial. The government, blunder, and everything came from the way they handled that Sheriff situation. You want to have your say before we move to the next things we've got to talk about, and then we out. 0772 2399 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line, only for the women, not men. 0777 98 03 75. And you are on the show Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with me in St. Andrews on this 18th day of November 2024. Amos J. Vincent said it even put the Liberians in Guinea in trouble. To be particular, he said, oh, okay, particularly the men. Okay, yeah. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sam Andrews.
Yes, good afternoon.
Thank you. My name is Hussein. I'm Hussein Kelvin. I call you from Jacobstown, District 2.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you. I listened to you and the three talking points. I have key interest in two quickly. The first one has to do with the security, the border points, issue that we have with Guinea. I think the government has taken seize of that matter. Our people need not to panic because it is a normal routine. I listened to one of your sister show and the correspondent there make it very emphatic that there's a normal routine for the armed forces of Liberia who normally go on their border patrol, in certain period of the year. So that thing that is a normal routine, nothing has sparked up, no tension anywhere. The AFL is just exercising something that they normally do, out of that security big up. Now, the next issue that I have to do with
hold on. When they did that before today, or yes, before today, when did they do that?
Okay, fine. So, according to the correspondent, it is a normal routine every
When did
year.
they do that before this one? When did they do that before this one? Since you say it is a normal routine, meaning
this is why I'm not speaking emphatically as the spokesperson of the armed forces.
Then you need not say. Wait, Hussein. Wait.
Go ahead.
Wait. Take time. You need not say normal routine when you do not know. Just admit that the government knows what is happening. And like you rightly said from the onset, the government has taken siege of the matter. I think if you had just stopped there, you would have made sense then to go beyond saying it is a routine. The government has taken siege of the matter because they know what is unfolding. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So Andrew, the present.
Go to the next issue. Go to the next issue.
So, let me go to the next point quickly. So the issue of the former assistant minister who resigned, and I think when you say government is not just the president. The lieutenants, the ministers, the deputy ministers, the directors, and everybody makes up the government. When you are in, more especially the man who's serving as one of the official spokesperson of government, the assistant minister of the Ministry of Information. In fact, the Ministry of Information does have their chat room, official chat room where ministers, put in like grievances and recommendations to government. He left it out and sat on a public platform and denigrated the government. Somebody is saying, no.
My man, your blunder with that thing, the man left your government, man. See you. Hello?
Yeah, welcome to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is Lawson Pine. And I'm from District 8 in Montreal.
Let's hear you, Lawson Pine.
Thank you. Let me first begin with the issue I have to do with the retreat of the CDC. I think it's a good one. But here's my point. I don't want to believe that the CDC has acknowledged those factors that lead to the defeat. Some of those factors are some officials that made the situation of panic for 6 years are still their officials. They are still in the hierarchy of the CDC. Those people were the factors that made the lose elections at the end of last year. So for you to have those guys who are very essential, who even when they win more the other government, partner without the basic with them, they are still
my man, listen.
I don't think they are serious.
Chief, listen.
Yeah.
Why you people have not understood this thing about sanction and you're put unnecessary fear or illegitimate fear in yourself? Sanction does nothing. How has sanction affected the job that the people do here?
At a very brave portion.
So your understanding of sanction mean nothing will come to the person. The office will not be active at all.
are you telling me that when you now you become a leader, an official, and then you are on special, will you be able to lobby around?
So how
has
has sanction affected or stopped the workings of those people offices?
Very good. Now Senator of Magidi is not able to travel to the U.S. in not any U.S. related country for lobby.
So
it's not only it's not a feed operation.
I see why
Mr. Joseph doing now.
My man, I see why the people can use.
Is that what you mean?
Sorry. I see why the people can use her because the only thing you know about lawmakers, elected lawmakers that travel. So when they're traveling, they're working. I see why the people can go. They sit down and enjoy themselves.
No, let me realistic.
Later, Chief. Hello.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Peter Davika, so I call from under the street light in Lower Johnsonville. I thank you very much for the fascinating discussion. You know, the actions by the Liberia military taking a tour to the Liberia-Guinea border, it's not a normal something. I think people need to be fair to themselves.
Don't mind Hussein, man. Don't mind Hussein. He know how to defend his own field party. They're blundering every day in everything.
We live here during any time we did not experience that. During we have time we did not experience that. Yes, a security killer that are being imposed by this particular government. And that's why you see the military moving in that particular form and manner. It's not a normal routine. You know, these are the actions of some Liberians that make all Liberians to die during the war. The myth and the false information that was disseminated. It's very much uncomfortable. These guys need to stop that. And lastly, and I just want to appreciate Fanatico for his team and standing by the law and his base. And for getting standing by him, that's a solid base, and we'll continue to be with them. Let them remain and the focus. The rule of law in the end is going to prevail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. When talk about Fanatico Fire, you hear for your mail. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 9803 75. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Elam Sodi. I'm calling from Jamaica Road. You know, my brother, people that believe in their party, you do not listen to them. When they get a belief in their party, let them go and listen to their party radio station. They will not be wasting our time. Some of us we own a land, we want to talk with our people. Then when they don't want to talk on the radio station, they can get you calling on our station to be disturbing us.
No, my man, the radio station.
All the fellows were talking that, they think that number Sunday. What kind of number Sunday? The one what happening in the country, the how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I understand.
I come from another country, I come in your country. I think you rescue the person. You don't rescue the person. You go and turn the person over. Even the way you free the person from injury, why the person first? The person nowhere. He can't be found. So tell me, you think that how we live in the country? Think that terrible. When people talking it, then they want to be backing wrong. So thank you for your show, brother.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. The radio station for everybody. Everybody. The station is serving everybody. The station is not partisan radio. It's for everybody, yeah? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm James Ray calling from 24th Street.
Yeah, let's hear you.
What's the problem with our Kewu friend?
Oh, Hussein? No, he's Hussein. Hussein.
Yeah, Hussein. Because are we saying that if it is a normal routine of patrolling the borders, it's only Guinea border like patrol. What happened to Syrian borders? What happened to African border? And most of them are aircraft like this, it becomes normal. It's Hussein casing normal. He always come out with toughest idea on freedom and kings. And he really want a job where he said that the last time that he can meet Baka. He had the privilege of meeting Baka anytime. Then he walked to the public chunking somewhere and start making all kind of offensive remark on the national radio. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. Let's see some of the comments. McGill, Miguel Naklan said that a 42 years experienced old man giving Liberia a hard time. And Lawrence Nolan said ordinary Liberians are going to be in serious trouble in Guinea. Let's hope that that the people there will not experience it, but the government blunder. Yeah, they blunder. The Minister of Information was too fast to talk all those things. He thought that he was saying something, but he didn't know that he was plunging or creating a difficult situation with the Guinean government. And who else? Okay. Rufus Divine Brooks Jr. said, no, man, y'all did that one. Yeah. You can write some things out. No, we can't read some of those things. We'll beg you because your name too. Okay. And then Lawrence back again. He said, Hussein, when did you understand the denigration of a government? When for 6 years you undermine another regime. Okay. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Let me say thanks to you for making that clarity because some are the fear point to go. The whole kids have get the only belong to cities, you know, all of going and calling without citizens. So let me tell you, thank you because some of them following you for your day at Capital FM. So we don't matter you are independent.
No, AB put the radio station at the service of every Liberian. This station is not a party. It's not a partisan radio. It's for everybody. The station broadcasts to everybody. It accepts everything, government things or opposition or whatever. Everybody. The government can say, okay, we're using King's FM today. AB, when I say no, you're not CDC people. And you can hear government ads here, you government people can send a thing there. The station is for everybody.
I've been calling on the few times and call the money show and all I was for me not today I've been listening to you for your Capital FM.
Yeah, but when the government blunder we say yeah.
We are support the government, but the government go wrong and say this down bad when government go wrong for you to see.
And you can say that when the government doing some positive thing, AB can praise them. When the government blunder, he say it. That's how it goes. The radio for everybody. That's state radio. It's for everybody. It's for the state.
Yeah, people Andrew, no, he must be power be 100%. All yeah, to make mistake. As long as you drinking water, so he must be one all yeah to make mistake one day. So how we I support the government, but I'll not tell you. I just send the government kind of power 100%. Everything no. You get a lot of fault in the government, and now on the daily time you discussing that we're discussing. But the AFF party, I think to follow. I think for me, I really see anything wrong with that particular one because the AFF, I think they're there to protect our very bowler. So if maybe they hear any sign, then they patrol into the bowler. I see that want to be anything or to be in the year.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That yeah. When the need be, they can move in. The government can move in when the need be. And this one, they have a reason. They have a reason why they move there.
Okay, so for me, I see any video in that particular one. Let me talk about Matthew Nyamplu. You see, let me say this. Let me comment Matthew Nyamplu. I'm only myself getting thinking. If you support something, but when I think at times is going wrong, sometimes people have to come up. Maybe they gonna talk in the corner. You can't think Matthew Nyamplu who wants too money. They can't in media to can say something. No. Maybe not talking into, nobody want to pay attention to him. And if Matthew Nyamplu now water poison, I know when you are working with one of your sister radio stations to be perceived Prime FM. I knew that time to listen to Lemamati Jagite, a lot of Lemamati Jagite were living. So I knew that just now, if you campaign for President Parker, that time was sent up for in 2017 all-out campaign. So for that kind of man who come and tell you, oh, Mr. President, it is not so much about it. It is about our country. I was speaking to you.
Okay, Chief.
So what we are discussing now, we are not only discussing about the individual party. We are here discussing about our country, how our country will go forward.
All right.
So
Thank you. We got other things to talk about. Let's give everybody the fair share. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Manchu. Good evening.
Yes, I'm fine. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Oliver Enche, and I call you from Plonko in Tinker. I wonder at times why when government say they come for change, they come for the people, and then someone within the government try to help it when it is going wrong, or when some officials in the government are going wrong, then the same government while working in the interest of the people will start you for talking in the interest of the people. It sounds so comical. Mr. Nyonglu, from what's else, radio station, from Fabric, even 2017 back then, he been supporting Mr. Walker. So what are you listening to Clarence, to what Julius J?
So what are you saying now? What are you saying, that he was right or was not?
He was right.
Okay.
Mr. Andrews. Because according to his resignation, he laid all the premises. He even includes those to the Minister of Information, and the Minister of Information shared that information with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Education, that the process they were going to was fraudulent because they were charging applicants $240 for some kind of application fee, which was not good. So they used that as a means to inform the president to get the guy off the job. I want to say hats off to him for sending a resignation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Okay. Thank you all. You did extremely well to spice up the first lap of the show. Rare Talk on Kings 88.5 with me, Sam Andrews. Here we go next. Hey, what is that? Here we go. Here we go next. Here we go next.
Are blooded, but not bowed. Our backs are straight. We can face the Liberian people. Our vision is clear. On this journey, we will stand squarely on the side of the Liberian Constitution. We will stand squarely on the side of the rules of the House of Representatives. Any other thing anybody wants to do, you will do it without our acquiescence. The law is the law. We must proceed by the law. You want to remove me? I don't want to be there one more day past 49. The minute you get at 49, you will see how I pack my office so fast and I go where I need to be. But this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, but this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, but this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, but this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, but this nonsense, but this nonsense, but this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, with whatever reasons they have, come in and destabilize the House and its leadership for personal aggrandizement. That buck is going to stop here. I don't know how this journey is going to end. For me personally, I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. But I can only tell you as to what will happen under my watch and under my gavel is the rule of law. And that is what I pledge to stick by.
He reminds me of Martin Luther King. I think it was his third or second to the last public address when he said, I do not know what lies ahead of me. We have some difficult days ahead, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he has allowed me. Yeah, that's how it sounds sorrowful when he was delivering this. Yeah.
But this nonsense, where every day few group of people either induced or uninduced, with whatever reasons they have, come in and destabilize the House and its leadership for personal aggrandizement, that buck is going to stop here. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. For me personally, I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. But I can only tell you as to what will happen under my watch and under my gavel is the rule of law. And that is what I pledge to stick by.
All right. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chancellor, Doctor of Law, Fonanti Kofa, when he addressed scores of or segment of legislative staff and the media today in the rotunda of the House of Representatives. And after that, he announced a bus for the Staffords with 3 small vehicles and additional vehicles to come in. He said he do not know what's going to happen. Like Martin Luther King would say, we got some difficult days ahead. And I think that's what the Speaker is referencing. They got difficult days ahead. Representative Yaka Kolubai again today called a news conference to sound out a warning that the battle in the next few days going to be even more tense because the resolve to get the Speaker out is not dwindling. It's boiling just like the burning fire furnace of Nebuchadnezzar. When Nebuchadnezzar resolved to get you out, and you insist that you can bow out, then he will increase the burning fire furnace 3 times. Well, I do not know who is the Nebuchadnezzar in this situation, but the Speaker seems to understand that there are difficult days ahead, with Representative Yaka Kolubai giving a news conference immediately after the Speaker gave his address that more money is being infused. It is reaching a point that if a person or 2 defects, that means leave from their block to go to the majority, will not be a surprise. They are bracing themselves for that because the fight has entered the second stage in which it is battle for survival or survival of the fittest. It's going to be tense. And that's what the Speaker is or alluded to when he said, I don't know what lies ahead, but he's sticking within the law. Nebuchadnezzar does everything he can to get his subjects to bow. But the 3 Hebrew brothers, they stood up and they said, even, O king, even if our God cannot save us, we will not bow. Now, those of you who know the Bible, you go to church. There is one thing that happened in that event, and God was not only excited, but that who he is. The three Hebrews brothers, go to Daniel chapter 3 and read it over and over. They say, "O king, even if our God, Yahweh, cannot save us, we will not bow. We will not give in. We will not go according to what you want. We will stick to the law. And the law is the law, never to be broken." And that what anger Nebuchadnezzar and say, put them in the burning fire furnace. In that situation, it is the same. Nebuchadnezzar wants the speaker to bow. But the speaker is saying, even if I have nothing protectively, the law is protecting me, and I will not give in. The three Hebrew brothers, they knew the law, though they were dependent on Yahweh, but they just put it in a situation and say, assume God is not protecting us in this situation. We have a law that nobody can break. We can break the law. This man wants us to break the law by giving in to him. We will not resign our law and give in to his law. That's why they say, even if Yahweh, even if our God can save us, we will not break the law that we have always lived by. The law is the law. You, Nebuchadnezzar, respect the law. You look at it. That's what they said. They said, even if our God cannot save us, O king, we will not bow to you. Put it in the context of this political situation. The speaker said that I only have the law, and the law is the law. We can't break the law. Bouaka said, let's break the law to get you out, and we'll break it no matter what. It is to get you out. When we get you out, then we'll go back to the law. And the battle was between Nebuchadnezzar and the three Hebrew brothers, and the three Hebrew brothers won. They never broke the law. They stuck to the law because that's how they were brought up, and they were taught that the law should always be respected. That is the reason why they say, oh, king, even if our God, Yahweh, cannot save us, we will not bow to you. We will not break the law. There's a law that we cannot break, and you know that law, Nebuchadnezzar. We will not break the law and give in. We will not kowtow in your power. Today, the speaker reiterated that sin, that Daniel sin, just suit the speaker and his enemies. Enemies, that anybody who going against you. That's how enemy, the Bible defines enemy. Anybody who going against you. Anybody who wants you out. Anybody who thinks that you are not the right person, they are the right person, you should get out. It's your enemy. And if you leave yourself vulnerable, anything happens to you, God would say, oh, it's up to you. So Israel talked about this. He was very exhaustive about it today. I don't want to dwell on that much. I only brought that because it is a developing aspect or a developing portion. He had that news conference today. And there are other events that are happening. AB will talk about the unfolding events right now, but I think that was dealt with exhaustively by Israel this morning. We can just speak of, we know that it is it's one of the typical events, but it's getting bold now. People are getting tired of this. Every day you wake up, speak of this, majority block, minority block, just block all over the place. What a dumb government. What a mess. What are you telling? What kind of lesson you showing to those people in various universities learning governance or political science or governance science? What are you telling the people beyond that? Especially those you call ordinary. How do you expect the people to see you? What can you tell them about morality, about the rule of law? This is complete nonsense. This thing dragging. Look how long. Everything governance is at a standstill. Big men and women acting like children. Neither party making progress. I am hearing that they are contemplating that the president has submitted the draft 2025 budget to the legislature through the chief clerk for onward submission to the presiding officer. Which presiding officer? That's what I've been told. And the budget is $851.8 million United States dollars. $851.8 million is what I am getting. It's what I am getting. Yes. You see that? You see that? Bwaga? You see that? But anyway, it's good. The next time y'all know how to run all over the place, you stretch your vein. Rescue. You see that? This is what I just received November 18, saying His Excellency, he's not Excellency, President Bwaka. What Excellency? Excellency means you are within the ambit of the law. Everything you do is right. Your character, your conduct, your association, respect for everything moral. You are just unique. That's why they say excellence. Now you may define it from a political perspective. Even from a political perspective, that's what it means. They don't call you excellent because excellency because you top person. No. So they say that a communication, but I'm not saying excellency. President Bwaka may deserve to be called excellency. President Bwaka, President Joseph Yoma Bwaka, Senior, earlier today, presented the fiscal year 2025 draft national budget to the national legislature in the amount of US $551.8 million, comprising core revenue of US $833 million and contingent revenue of US $18.8 million, told the presiding officer of the House of Representatives through the chief clerk. You're getting something here? It say, to the presiding officer of the House of Representatives through the chief clerk. So who's the presiding officer? Who Bwaka recognizes as the presiding officer? The draft national budget for 2025 represents 15.3% increase over the 2024 recast budget total appropriation of US $738.9 million. The draft budget captures appropriations aimed at delivering on key priorities of the arrest agenda for inclusive development, as well as addressing debt service and other obligations of the government. President Bouaka has urged the lawmakers. Who is he referring to? The majority bloc or the minority bloc or nobody? Ha ha! You're sit down. You're dealing with Nebuchadnezzar. Urge the lawmakers to exert their best efforts towards ensuring timely consideration and approval of the budget to ensure effective and efficient execution of the budget beginning January 2025. The submission of the draft national budget is in compliance with Section 17.1 of the 2019 Amendment and Restatement of the Public Financial Management Act of 2009. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustine Kpong-Gafuan, will address the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs, and Tourism regular press briefing on, that tomorrow. According to the document of Daniel O. Sando, Minister, Acting Minister. My people, it's over. It is over. It finished. 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 It finished. Y'all listening again? Where's that portion? Y'all listen?
For personal aggrandizement, how this journey is going to end. For me personally, I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. I don't know how this journey is going to end. For me personally, I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. But I can only tell you, I've already told you I will not resign. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't give you that guarantee. But I can only tell you as to what will happen under my watch and under my gavel is the rule of law. And that is what I pledge to stick by.
My man, the guys finished, yeah? It's over. The syndicate, the covert is secret, but this other covert is in the open. The guys finished with Fonatio. They finish. It finished. Why it is true that Bouaka communication or the information out by Daniel Sando leaves more questions than answer, too many contradictions, but rather not about the contradictions, but the intent. The intent is this man goes up, he comes down. Whichever way he can twist it, it's just a matter of time before he out of that place. Yeah, the country, yeah. That's softly country. But it's good. It's good. They're happy. I wish more to happen. It's good. And I want to rescue. Rescue them now. And rescue, say the other people are breaking the law. They are not regarding the law. They know all of the law. And you see it? It's finished. But it's not over until it is over. It is not over until it is over. Gafwan going over there. What Gafwan going to say? The document say he turned it over to the chief clerk, the presiding officer. Who is the presiding officer? Be specific. The chief clerk, you gave it to the chief clerk to turn it over to the presiding officer. Why wouldn't you say in your communication, we recognize the quote-unquote so-called majority bloc, the mutineers, the renegades, the rebels, presiding or commander. Just as we recognize the renegades, commander, Thomas Fowler. Why are you beating around the bush? Why you be that sycophantic? It is a known fact, government, Unity Party, and Bouakai. It is a known fact that you support the people. That's why the people are resolute. They are not unbending. It is a known fact that everybody knows. You don't have to be writing a communication acting like you're so smart when you are dull. How can you write a communication? Minister of Information, Deputy Minister of Information, and say the president has written for a submission the budget to the chief clerk for submission to the presiding officer. Amen. Just say we recognize the majority bloc and we're submitting everything to them. We're doing business with them. But you can do all of those things. Listen, how stupid and dull you continue to be, and everybody will know because you can't change anything until you get that 49. No! All the things you're doing are complete nonsense, complete stupidity. You're going nowhere. Gafwan goes to that ministry tomorrow. Why are you going to explain extra? Nothing Gafwan will do over there or say it will change anything until you can get a 49. So why not stop all of those things? Just be persuasive as you can as your education to break the speaker's block, get the 49, and the man is out, then you can go. But all of these shenanigans will not help. They're not helping. They're not changing anything. They are just empty shenanigans. You think when you do all of these things, then the speaker will resign? Well, he will stay on. Let's run a divided House of Representatives and let's see how it will be. Continue to plunge the country into chaos. Because you have all the gunmen and women. So when the people attempt to rise up, then you bring them outside. That's a sheer nonsense and stupidity. How will you say that you're sending the budget to the chief clerk, to the presiding officer? Be specific in the communication. Which presiding officer now? We have presiding officer Fonati Kofa, deputy presiding officer Thomas Fowler. And the presiding officer is on the ground. The constitutionally, democratically speaker, the recognized speaker, he's not incapacitated. He's available. He's not out of the country on any sick leave or anything. He's in the country. He's in a good bill of health. He goes to the capital as per his work routine. So who are you referring to as presiding officer? Thomas Fowler or the speaker? What kind of thing in this country here, so that the thing you're coming in, you say rescue, that the governance you know there? This thing, since God created the world, it has never happened in any country. Since Liberia came to be a country from 1847, this has never happened. It is only in this Unity Party government is happening. What a shame. What a disgrace. But Fonati will stay on. Your way. It's up to him. We're not close. but we just think that he ought to stay on and fight to the end. And let's see who will give in. If I were you, Boakai, just come up publicly with an announcement that I recognize the majority bloc, and then you'll go and be dealing with 43 persons. Then the constitution, or the portion of that constitution parliamentary is suspended. It will not be in effect again. So you will be running. Hey, man, what's the name they get for it? You will be running a haphazard. That's not the name. I just trying to insert this one. You'll be running a haphazard House of Representatives. Beyond that, nothing can happen because you will always need the constitutional number. You don't get speaker. You will leave from here. Thomas Fala will be leaving from here. Who will recognize him as the speaker when the people know the speaker on the ground? Let's assume that you send the budget on that side. You know, how can a 42-year-old man experiencing governance for 42 years will do such, will stoop so low, become so mechanical mentally? Amen. No reason why the people say Liberal is always in the news for the negative reasons. Nothing positive about that. Yeah. Gabriel Mann said, I'm wondering, under whose speakership will Mr. President deliver his SONA? Yeah, but they are confident that before January, Fonatikova will be off. But just get the 49. That's all. What is hard, what is impossible or impossible to get 49? I don't think it's impossible. Just do the reasonable needful as it is within your right. Fonatikova said, once you get a 49, in a twinkling of an eye, he clears his office. He gone. I think that's the most reasonable thing to do of people who claim to be educated. Say I'm done. Say it is finished. Boakai had a baby. It is just starting. What's the other one? Your Naklan say my yeah, it is my girl Naklan say what a disgrace to those dishonorable lawmakers of the 25K legislature. Glad Speaker Fonatikova has reassured the public on his stance for the rule of law. If Speaker Kofa ever dreams of relinquishing his speakership, he should also be prepared to relinquish his representative seat. Who else has written on this? Amen. Let's turn to y'all. Y'all have your say. Don't stay long on the line. I want you to have your say as best as you can. I thought not to talk about this, just to play the speaker voice, what happened today, so you will know, and then I'm out. But this one just came in. I couldn't leave it out, but AB will get on it. They are developing stories. I've seen some things coming in, not good at all. So you want to get set for face the issues tonight at 8 o'clock. Until then, have your say. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 9803 75. President Boakai, through his Deputy Information Minister for Public Affairs, Daniel Sano, said the president will be submitting the budget, or has written the presiding officer. Told the presiding officer of the House of Representatives through the chief clerk. Don't stay long on the line, please. Don't stay long. Just go straight to the point so that as many of you can have your say. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the show, Kizabel.
This is Kings 88.5. The men's communication is out. Hello.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah.
My name is J.D. Mano Kwate, the Chief Executive Officer of the Strategic Thinkers for Development and Good Governance of Liberia. But I want to join you this hour. I'm sharing tears right now in my house, looking at the way our countries are running. But they so-called for the 2 years old government experience with a worker.
Okay, Chief. Just go straight to the point. The communication is out. You heard a communication. Just share your thoughts on it. You don't have to romanticize anything or historicize.
The government is proceeding wrongly. It's unconstitutional. The Nigerians are watching. So
okay. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Ali Padikoma, speaking family. I call from Rangel Street. You know, let me say thanks to the executive for submitting the budget. The national legislator, we all pray that they must be able to pass the budget in time so that our country will be able to move forward. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Cut off your radio.
Yeah, this is Imam Afi calling from Paris Street.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, brother. Thank you very much for that statement I made. I was supporting fully on the when people want to move there, man. They go through the constitution. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
This is my embassy request. Error Council, CDC. Okay. I want to say, I got probably the man where the man got us to spend on. We're talking about some of this thing now. We call the people from Lopa. Who all from Lopa, they all got us. But now we got to say, with the people. So let's connect it first. When he said, no way, you will sit down. You will sit down, the man is honor man here, who government. Yeah, I never see any president who honor man, who government like that. So the man, the way you break it in, we treat you with God. To fight for us.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice Monday. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear you.
Yeah. My name is Sarah Johnson. I'm calling from Inside Tower, New Jersey this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My talk on your talking point this morning on Kings FM have to do with the issue of the draft budget. Clear?
We're listening to you, Chief. You are speaking. You're making sense. We're listening to you.
Okay. The issue is that the first branch of government. Sorry to say this. Liberians look at them, and the young people who coming out to participate in our body politics look at them as their role model. If they will be doing such things that they just because of that self-aggrandizement, self-interest, something people call it, and then to get the country on the horse state is wrong. Okay. And now, if you check the amount of days that this sucker started with the speaker issue, now you are going 1 more plus now. And if at all more end, those people will be going to the very area to go and take that money income. Then they forget about the ordinary people who gave them that authority today in their very constituent. Those who certain capacity in the real school and the owner there saying what they think they can get for themselves. It's wrong. And let me use the time again to appreciate the president who always listen to the Liberian people, but telling about presenting a national draft budget to the lower hall for discussion. At least this will tell people that.
Thank you, Chief. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Your name and where you called from?
I'm Joseph from Broadview.
Yeah, let's hear you. Let's hear you as quickly as you can.
Yeah, but for me, according to understanding, submitting the budget to the 43 lawmaker is because the executive want to control this budget. Because if the budget is submitted to FONACI, probably they are showing what they want to, finance. FONACI will not agree. So that people, they are supported that people, and that people is in their interest. They submitted the budget to that people will pass all the whatever, pushing for the be passed. For me, that's the reason why they are supporting that particular block.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you. You did extremely well. Let's see. Well, we have few comments again on this. Lawrence Lowland said, why is this old man treating the Liberian people this way? I don't understand. And who else? All right. So listen again before we go as quickly as we can. The budget submission. It said the caption they have here, President Boubacar presents fiscal year 2025 draft national budget to the national legislature. You see how people can bring out the stupidity in them. Draft, when you have one, it goes to the House of Representatives, and then the next place they send it for concurrence before it goes back for the next or the final. The House of Representatives is in tatters. There's complete split, a crisis, and the crisis is tense, so much so that ECOWAS came in. They could not handle the situation. The majority bloc say, no, we can't listen to this, we can't listen to that. Let the speaker do this, let the speaker count to oil. Then you're right, calling yourself educated person. No reason why the people, when people leave from here, they get out of this country and say they educated this, educated people can still demote them. Because the people see, they hear, this too petty. How can you say legislature when the legislature, when one segment is in tatters? There's a, I'm saying excellency, your Unity Party boy, you get better your business. President Boubacar, President Joseph Yuma Boubacar Sr., earlier today, presented, before he left, you see how the man can do rascality? The man wait when he leave from here, then he submit. The same thing happened with the other thing. Presented the fiscal year 2025 draft national budget to the national legislature in the tune I call the amount to the presiding officer of the House of Representatives through the chief clerk. And the president urged the lawmakers to exert their best efforts towards ensuring timely consideration and approval of the budget to ensure effective. I mean, this is absolute trash, man. Nonsense. What 43? So he's telling us that the 43 are the House of Representatives. Okay, number. The United Party government. At least it's not CDC or any other party. The United Party government. I see you. That's it then. Yeah, that's it. That ain't worth reading again. Got elementary students can't even write that kind of thing. I see you. The news is on at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Face the issues with A.B. Williams. Thank you ever so much. My name is Sam Andrews. Shalom. We'll talk tomorrow if God permits.